So Kevin has taught me how to play crib, and he's won several times. However, the most important game, I won. So I just want this on record that I won. Okay, thank you. Bye. It's Jennifer Harding Marlin, a citizenship by investment attorney, coming to you from beautiful St. Kitts. I have a special guest with me today, Kevin, who went through the St. Kitts and Nevis citizenship by investment process and is a citizen. And so I'm going to ask him a series of questions today. So thank you so much for coming.
No worries.
And how are you today?
I'm great, thanks.
So maybe you can tell people a little bit about your journey towards obtaining citizenship and your motivations for becoming a citizen.
Sure. So basically I was looking for a more relaxed way of life and a new adventure. So I come from Australia and I was working in a pretty high pressure environment and decided that I just wanted to take a step back and focus more on a healthy lifestyle. So I began doing some research and came across St. Kitts and Nevis and the Citizenship by Investment program. That's when I reached out to you. I believe it was maybe April 2021. We had a chat over Skype and the ball started rolling from there.
And so you've been living here a few months now, and how has that been?
Since mid-January, just after mid-January this year. It's been amazing. Obviously, it's always a bit of a exciting, maybe a bit of fear when you move to a new country. I've never been here before or anywhere in the Caribbean, so coming from Australia is pretty much the exact other side of the world. But I just made up my mind and went with it. And it's been a great decision. I'm loving it here.
So what are some of the pros and cons that you found since living here?
Some of the pros are obvious ones. I mean, the weather and sea, the food's great, the people are friendly as. It's just been exactly what I was hoping for and surpassed my expectations, you know. When you make a change, as I was saying previously, you're never completely sure if it's the right move or not, but it's just been fantastic. I've really enjoyed myself and it's still early days, so long may it continue.
Yeah. And are there things from back home that you miss or some things that surprised you upon
I miss
moving
Tim
here?
Tams. So
I had them, they're really, really good.
there's a biscuit in Australia called Tim Tams and you can't really get them out here. But I've made friends with a cafe owner on the island and he's from Australia too. He's up by Brizzy area, so East Coast. And we were just having a bit of a yarn and laugh about Tim Tams and how good they are and how much we miss them. So it would be a con, no Tim Tams. But
yeah.
Other than that, no, nothing really major, hey. I mean, where I'm living, there's been a couple of power cuts and I don't really fully understand it, but there's like this shut-off policy at a certain time of night. They just shut the water off, which is a bit random, but you just get used to it. You know, make sure you fill up a jug of water before 9:30 at night and you're good to go. So.
Well, I think that's specific to where you chose to live.
Right,
It's not like that everywhere.
So I need to basically find a better place to live is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. I'll take that on board.
But yeah, and so maybe you can walk people through a little bit the documentation process and
Sure.
how did you find the process?
So the documentation process is pretty much what you'd expect it to be. You know, stuff like birth certificates, a family history, date of birth, that sort of stuff, profession, qualifications, criminal history, background check. And what I really appreciated from you and your team was the fact that I could always communicate with you and you responded very promptly. So if there's anything where I need clarification, you came through really quickly with that. And I never found it particularly tricky. I mean, I am a solo applicant, so possibly a little bit easier than those with spouses and kids. But I imagine it's just the same process, just got to do it a few times, I suppose.
And did you have any concerns throughout the process or before the process? And what did your family and friends think of you doing this?
To be honest, I didn't really have any concerns and I didn't tell a great deal of many people I was doing it until pretty much the process was completed and finished. And me being the person I am, I don't think many people were all that surprised that I made the decision that I made. I see life as a big adventure and you only get one life, so make the most of it, you know. So that's basically the mentality, yeah.
And have you had the opportunity yet to explore other islands or sort of what are your intentions once you're here?
Sure, so I've been to the special municipality of the Netherlands to the north, slightly to the west called St. Eustatia. Went there for a couple of days and that was beautiful. Tiny little island. I think there's like 3,000 people on the island, which is tiny in comparison to St. Kitts with a population like 40,000 and Nevis 10,000. Went up to the Bahamas and I'm very pleased that I chose St. Kitts and Nevis because the Bahamas, whilst it's nice, at least the mainland, it's much more commercial, a lot more full on. And yeah, I'm very, very happy that I chose St. Kitts for sure.
And is there a particular purpose or reason why you traveled to Bahamas? If you don't mind talking a little bit about it, or?
Yeah, so I was looking to get a B2 visa for the US, and there isn't an American embassy on St. Kitts and Nevis, so the nearest one, well, arguably between Bahamas and Barbados. So I just traveled over to the Bahamas for the B2 interview, and that was the purpose of the Bahamas. It was only a snappy little trip, but yeah, it was good to see the island itself, though.
Yeah, so a lot of people are concerned about getting a visa to the U.S., particularly those who go on to renounce your U.S. citizenship. And so I understand, like, you're not a U.S. citizen and you didn't go on to renounce. But how did you find the process of getting a visa in the Bahamas?
Very simple, very straightforward. Basically, just went online, quick Google search to find out what I needed to do, the process and the steps, set up an interview date, and fly over to the Bahamas with all the correct documentation. Maybe took me 30 minutes all up. That was it, done. Visa approved.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that.
Thank you, cheers.
And so just in terms of like preparing the move, can you talk a little bit about that and sort of...
To St. Kitts?
Yeah, to St. Kitts, what steps you took and what tips you have for other people that are considering moving to another country?
It's just a systematic approach. You know, create a list of what needs to be done and then just do it, work through it step by step. And for me, again, it was very simple and that was just me. So it wasn't schools to worry about or kids to be concerned about losing friends and stuff. So yeah, just create a list and follow the bouncing ball and pretty straightforward. Pack a bag and get on the plane and go. Or in my case, a number of planes and go.
Yeah, Australia is very, very far and we've surprisingly, over the years, helped more and more people from Australia relocate. So have you met a lot of people on islands and how is sort of integration to the island, how's that gone for you?
Sure, I feel like I've adapted to island life very well. It suits my personality and persona anyway, being a bit more laid back and chill. But the very first morning I was here, I was pretty jet lagged from traveling for 496 days to get here. But I just went out for a little walk to explore and I met a lady from Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, called Laura. She's maybe 70, 75 years old. And
you better get her age right.
Right.
Or
She's
you'll be in
about
trouble
50,
watching
maybe 50,
this.
yeah. But she's married to a guy called Steve and I've become heaps good friends with them despite them being a little bit older than me. But we play a game pretty regularly. But yeah, I've met another couple called Jerry and Pinder. Shout out Jerry and Pinder. And it was wonderful just to meet like-minded individuals and just, you know, create new friendships right from the moment go. They were very similar to me in their outlook and philosophy. You yourself helped facilitate some friendships that I've made through other couples who have done the Citizenship by Investment program. And it's been easy as. And one thing I appreciate with JH Marlin as well was the fact that it wasn't a simple case of obtaining the citizenship and then you sort of wash your hands of me. You helped me integrate to the culture and society over here by creating those initial connections. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
And do you think you'll join a sailing club or do you think you'll do other activities on island when here? Because I know you'd mentioned a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm always keen to try new things and have new adventures. And if sailing is a part of that, then I'm very willing to check it out. I know Nevis has a sailing club. I've been over there a couple of times. So yeah, it's an avenue I'm going to explore. But, you know, it's not been quite 2 months yet since I've been here. So, but yeah, it's on the cards.
And so what are your impressions of Nevis and how does it compare to St. Kitts? And maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So Nevis, for me, the vibe between St. Kitts and Nevis is pretty similar, obviously being the same country. But Nevis it's a little bit more chill again, which is saying something because St. Kitts is so chill. But Nevis is just like got a slightly more laid back feel to it, which I really enjoy and appreciate. But they're both great countries, both great spots. So, well, same country, sorry, both great islands. I really enjoy them both.
Yeah, and so is there any sort of tips or suggestions that you would make to someone who's considering citizenship by investment or relocating to another country?
If they're coming from Australia, make sure you have a suitcase full of Tim Tams to bring me some.
And me some too. I like Tim Tams.
Yeah, I got Jennifer hooked on the old Tim Tams. What would I suggest? To be honest, come with an open mindset, come with a positive mindset of making this work. And often you find what you're looking for in life. You just have to be in the correct mind space and headspace to make something work, I feel. And this place makes it very easy. As I said, everyone's very friendly, it's beautiful, the food's good, the weather's superb.
And do you have any entrepreneurial goals and or projects that you want to work on while you're here?
I have a couple of ideas, but I'm just taking my time and going with the flow a little bit, just trying to learn my new home, and we'll see what happens.
So do you think that citizenship by investment was worth it for you? And how do you see benefiting from having done citizenship in the future?
100% worth it. 100%. Like I said at the start of the video, my goal and aim was to change the pace of life, and this has facilitated that in spades. Life here is exactly what I was hoping it to be, and even better than what I was expecting it to be. I've had a blast here and wouldn't change anything for the world, for sure.
Have you done any network opportunities, or what's it like to go out and meet people, especially for people that might be more introverted? I know I'm introverted and it kind of took a little while to meet people. So what types of events have you been attending, or how would you suggest going about meeting people on island?
Well, I don't have any social media, and I haven't been on that for a long time now, but I understand that Facebook, there's a St. Kitts and Nevis Facebook group. There's probably multiple groups, but I have friends that are part of that, and there's often messages thrown about and advertised for events and stuff. And because the population is pretty small, you do tend to find your own people pretty quickly, and just through natural networking, you're going to become exposed to those opportunities. And in terms of my own events that I've approached or been a part of, I should say, I don't think I have been to any networking events on the island yet, but there are some coming up shortly, which I will be joining. Yeah.
And so maybe you could touch a little bit more on what you do on the day-to-day and sort of what's a typical day in your life in St. Kitts?
Sure. So I wake up relatively early because of the location of my rental property. I'm renting at the moment a apartment, and it overlooks the ocean. Like you could throw a coconut out the window and hit the water. And what I do is I get up, have a cup of tea, listen to the ocean, watch the ocean for a little while, and then I take a walk down to a local cafe where I enjoy a good hearty breakfast, which is just delicious. And the guy who owns and runs that place, he doesn't own it, but he runs it. He's the Australian bloke who makes a bloody good coffee. So that's the start of my day. From there, variety of things, because obviously I've not been here for that long. I've had to run around and sort out stuff like drive-in tests and licensing. So it's just a chilled out life. And like I was saying earlier, I've met Laura and Steve and often play games as well.
And so how is the local restaurants and local food scene here? Have you gone out a lot?
I've been to a few restaurants and the food's very good. I'm a bit of a steak man and I haven't been disappointed yet. But no, the food on the island is exceptional. It's really good.
And have you been able to do water activities or land activities, or have you gone hiking yet? Or do you plan to go hiking maybe?
Yeah and no. So I currently have a perforated eardrum. So that sort of creates issues when I try and put my head under the water. Just lose all sense of coordination and balance. So get that sorted out pretty soon. In terms of hiking, yeah, there's some walks you can do on the island, and Nevis has a big peak, which isn't technically a mountain because it's not quite a kilometre in height. But hopefully I'll get up there at some stage. And I know there's a walking group that meets every week. So it'd be good to start getting involved with that, get a bit of activity going.
Because I know you've done a lot of very long walks.
Yeah, it's a fair while ago, but I've done a number of big walks in a few different countries. for sure.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll get out and get hiking and hike the peak, and then you can tell us all about it. Maybe we'll do a 6-month or a year check-in after you've been here on the island and
For sure.
see how if you're still loving it and what's your experience been like and sort of places to go and things to do. I don't know if there's something in particular that you would recommend to people.
In terms of activities
or just life in general, or a place to go, or...
There's so many good places here, man. And because, like, I'm in the Frigate Bay area, you're sport for choice in terms of restaurants and cafes, you know. You don't have to walk very far to change up the cuisine from local dishes to Thai food to Indian. There's a whole big range. You're sport for choice here, for sure.
Yeah. And so do you have any parting words for people that are watching these YouTube videos, or anything you'd like to add?
I suppose I'd say, if you're on the fence about whether to go through with citizenship by investment, just reach out to Jennifer and ask her some questions. She's relatively friendly.
Relatively.
No, she's good and she can answer all your questions. And the thing that I like about JH Marlin is it's all they do. They're specific to immigration and citizenship by investment. So I always felt like I was in the best possible hands because you're always abreast of the latest activities and developments with the program itself, you know. Your communication was fantastic. Couldn't fault it. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And this brings about another question. So I remember you had eliminated it down to different islands, and then finally you chose St. Kitts. So why did you choose St. Kitts and Nevis as opposed to other countries? At our firm at JH Marlin, we help with all the different citizenship by investment programs around the world. We're really big in the Caribbean, so we do Antigua, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis. So what made you choose St. Kitts as opposed to going elsewhere?
So St. Kitts and Nevis, not what I need to tell you, but was the original citizenship by investment nation. They've been in operation since 1984, so it's like the platinum standard. And it just made sense to me. I got a good feel about the place from the research that I did. And the great benefit about the citizenship by investment in the Caribbean is that once you have the passport in Antigua, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, you can travel to one of 7 nations and be treated like a citizen, you know. So, I don't know, say I'm here for 2-3 years, you get a little bit bored, you could always head on down to Grenada and stay there for a while, check that place out.
It's often a benefit that people don't realize that you do have OECS freedom of movement, so it's really nice that you point that out. And thank you so much for your time today and sitting down to chat with us. And if any of the viewers of this channel have any further questions, feel free to post them in the comments below. We'd be happy to respond, and maybe we could do another interview like this at some other point. And especially if you've had the opportunity to visit other islands as well, we could maybe ask you questions about your experience in those other islands as well.
For sure, I'd love to.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much. Bye. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.